Yes, it is.
Progress on every move. What a fascinating endgame.
Yeah, it is.
Truly.
And by the way, it looks like Alejandro just took a swig of something. I think it must have been like a ginger ale or something.
Yeah, right.
Some kind of
Alejandro,
what
do
is
you
the
know,
drink?
Ale?
What are the drinks of champion grandmasters? I always like water and orange juice at my games. What were your favorite drinks?
Coffee and water.
Coffee and water. You, Maurice?
Water.
Teas?
No teas, just water.
No teas. I thought you were you like teas.
I do, but not in the games. I would drink water.
Boris Gelfand
just stay hydrated.
Is a big tea man. In fact, he would bring these big thermoses, like these industrial size thermoses, and he'd have his tea all nicely at the board. Okay, F4 on the board. I agree with you, Maurice. This king is slithering.
What the heck is the move?
I'm seeing easy moves for black. Bishop is coming to E3. King is coming to E5, so you can capture this pawn on F5. And Alejandro, he took this pawn and allowed these pawns to advance. So he must have an idea.
I'm wondering about a line using my G pawn as a distraction. But I haven't. The king can come over as well. What if I play rook A4, king E5, G5?
Rook A4, gift me the pawn. King E5, G5. So this is your... But let's say I take it.
I'm going to play rook A6. I'm thinking you can't do everything you want.
I can't do everything I want. Why not? I want to do everything I want.
Okay,
here, bishop, and I took it. Now I want to take this one.
No. I see what you want now.
Just for the audience, remember, Pal Benko pounded it into my head. Rooks belong behind past pawns. And here we see why. You're not going to allow that. I know, Maurice. You had something. No.
Now I want to back the bishop up and guard this pawn.
The pawn.
King F1, you look like you have an F3 that might just...
Yeah. I was going to invite you to that experience, and it's not good. No, here the whole thing is the king, the white king, is the one who is tactically vulnerable.
Agreed. I can't keep you out. I can't keep you out. This pawn is not a true deflecting pawn. Look.
I preferred what you said before. Maybe rook H1 to, I don't know.
I think you have to play it.
Yeah.
But the king, again, is going to slither forward. But at least you keep your G pawn, and F3 is very hard to get. So in this position, everybody's protected.
Can imagine this is much more double-edged. And by the way, you don't just want Wesley to show you how he's going to win. You want Wesley to have some doubts. You want to, sow something like, hey, you got to be careful too.
Okay, I called it a root beer.
Every
kind of like brown thing. It looks like maybe it's like a soda root beer. Am I getting it wrong, Tom? Somebody else get it right?
Every Dutchman would call that a Heineken, but I don't think it is.
Sparkling water. Okay, I knew.
Perrier water. Okay.
Ramirez is like, he obviously is a fun-loving guy, very popular in the chess world, but he's like ultra serious when it comes to training and playing.
Absolutely, at the board, no question.
No way.
Yeah. No, he respects the game a lot. Let's leave this game here.
Just want to talk. By the way, there's only one flaw. We need to inspect this. Alejandro is down to 219, and Wesley at 10 minutes. And there is a big point to moving your rook off the H file, the A file, is that black could take the A file. Rook H1 can be met by rook A8, and I don't like that position at all. Like, you can go checking all you like. The black king is ending up on D4. I don't know how to defend this position if I'm black. I feel like if I'm white, I feel like I'm lost.
Mm-hmm.
And he has played G5 in what looks like frantic desperation about how to defend here, because he saw all these tricks that Black was developing. What a remarkable conception G4 was. G4 that looked impossible. For him to break the pawn structure wall with G4, capture twice, then play E4 and F4, and have these two nasty looking pawns as Black, that was very instructive.
Absolutely. Reaching into his bag of tricks or with his back to the wall, however you want to put it, I really like this move G5 check a lot. Like, that might be, in my opinion, the only saving move, because if you just allow Black's king to waltz in, and whether this rook activates itself on the H file or maybe on the A file, as you were mentioning, Maurice, king E5, it looks really, really bad. So why not use your pawn as a decoy, a distraction?
He didn't buy it, Yaz. He didn't buy it. He said, you can push all you want. King E5 is in the position, and he is not afraid. He's got the rook G8 idea, is back in business.
Okay, wait a minute. This is exactly the type of thing I was talking about a second ago. Wesley is having the fun. Wesley's pushing the action, no question about it. But as white, you also want Wesley to respect what's going on. The move G5 check, that's a pawn. That's the extra pawn that's white's pocket. King E5, bishop E6. And now I was about to say, now with the bishop on E6, aren't I making the G pawn real? Okay, rook H8, I get it, I really do. You want to go at rook H2. Now,
I want to start with F3. G6 on the board. G6 played first.
On the board. Okay.
By the way, Alejandro down to 46 seconds.
Ooh,
46. He's in a crisis. And rook G8, rook A6 played instantly.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of G6. No. I was later. We'll go down that rabbit hole of bishop E6, but at the moment, rook A6, bishop C5. And by the way, this is what Wesley does. He is really good at keeping the pressure up. He makes for what he thinks is a forced move. The bishop is attacked. He doesn't think it over. As white, you want your opponent to think about bishop D4, bishop E3, bishop G1. No, he just says, look, I'm going to be very practical. The bishop is good on C5. I play it quickly. Your time is ticking. And we have moves. We have
really E6, bad moves for Alejandro fans as rook takes. And we're about to see that move you mentioned, Yaz, that just stopped me in my tracks. Rook G3, rook B3. I got to say, Black is totally winning this position.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, somebody who's not winning anymore, guys, as a surprise, it looks like somehow Lenderman has defended as it's two rooks and two pawns each. And he's been spending quite okay. He finally played it, and there it's on the board. Alejandro played B7 and bishop to C8 quickly, and at least the rook cannot leave. Okay,
the B file because of a queen, but I got a feeling it's all about the the king, and it is like not really. I'm not happy here.
We're a tempo problem here, right? Like we play King D1 and Rook A8. We're just losing by a tempo, huh?
Yeah, it's like one of those things that you get here, and it's like, please let it be my move. No. Now I've got to drop back, and there goes my.
Oh, look at that. E3 by Wesley. Ruthless with the threat of E2 check. King C1 trying to disrupt this rook. Okay, he's trying to fight.
But bishop D4 is going to end that. As that E2 dream? Is that dream.
I see.
I'm also thinking E2, king takes, queen. Is there a mate? I suspect it's winning. I suspect there is. A winning continuation, giving away the rook. I'm sure because he's got the time, Wesley's considering it. Let's just have a quick look-see if this if there is a checkmate for Wesley or not here. Like, where could the king go? You know how I would like, it's like one of those things where you would like the checkmate. How can I do it? Something like this would be pretty. But
actually, there's a win of that was strong, and it looks like everything else wins the queen. The new queen on b8 looks like it goes lost.
Like if you get it, you walk into that very famous skier ideas, right? So I suspect it is winning. I think Wesley could probably win it more pedantically, I want to say, with the move. Bishop
no, but
D4.
Your line is fantastic. If that works. Oh no, your queen d3 check could be met by king c1.
Unfortunately, he didn't
go down the right. Fortunately, he didn't go down because king c1, yes, and your bishop d4, queen c3 line, king c1 was the refutation, I think.
Oh, sorry. It would have been e2, king takes, yes.
Quickly, because they're playing. Yes. Just play your line, and I'm going to defend. And after queen c3, king to d1, and if queen d3, why can't I play king c1?
Gotcha.
And ask you, how are you going to construct this mating concept?
Exactly, which is why we didn't see this. He did play the move bishop d4, did Wesley, back here after the move e3, king c1, bishop d4. This is easier, simpler. And Alejandro is not going to
Alejandro is trying to fight somehow. We don't believe it.
No, this pawn, this passer is just so strong. Also, the fact that the king could easily enter the position as well. Bishop to c5, king to d4 convinces me that this position is just bad. Lastly, the rook is going to come to f2, I think. By the way, just getting news that's...
No, Sevian, as Shanklin and Zhang actually have drawn, but Sevian is suddenly up a very important pawn against Linear Dominguez.
Whoa!
3 tournament favorites. Look at that A pawn go.
That's a nasty A pawn, and oh boy, this should be winning for Sam Sevian with this. Oh, gorgeous rook too. The rook will be just like brilliantly posted on d3. Rook takes, f5, everything going Sam's way. I don't know what Linear did. Hadn't paid too much attention to that.
Because it looked more like sedate than some of our other games.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, I mean, Sam Sevian did not have a good start in the U.S. Junior Championship, but, we all said it, that having that practice in that tournament,
it's so important.
Really helping for the big dance.
Yeah,
exactly.
Could you stay on this game while he thinks, because it's so dramatic, and pull up on your board the other game with Alejandro and Wesley, because we know Alejandro's a tremendous blitz player. Wesley is also a fantastic player, of course. So let's take a look, because Alejandro has been fighting in this position.
He's battling.
He's battling. He's not just dropping in his game. And that light square blockade, I understand this is bad, but it's Wesley hasn't played sort of the precise or whatever. I don't know what moves he could have played, but this does not look easy with this blockading piece right now.
Yeah, we could keep that as the main game, as it does seem like the result is more in doubt. Like, I feel like Sam Sevian, Linear is less likely to save the game than Alejandro.
Wait, but Alejandro just does something really weird.
Hold on.
He just put his king in a mating net.
Bishop b4, rook e1.
He
just straight put his own king in a mating net. Unbelievable.
Yikes.
Just like he was fighting. He was fighting, and he put his king in a mating net. Now his king's going to have to giddy up and get out of there. This is going to be bad. Rook e1, check him again on f1, and the king's going to have to leave.
Yep.
Like, go.
The king has to go to g4, but then comes rook f2.
And the whole blockade has been broken.
And there go, it's the dam.
He was fighting. He took his rook off the back row and dropped the game in this position. And now rook f2 is just decisive. And he can feel it. He's disgusted. And Wesley's going to 2-0. There's Alejandro shaking his head. And if you just go back a couple of moves, I mean, Wesley has been very fortunate 2 games. I mean, he's playing the games, of course. But if you just go back to the moment he played his rook off the back rank when the king was on d4,